ones who are creating a retreats community as part of their business. And one reason we really stand by this is that the importance of community is greater than it's ever been. And actually, I'm going to start with a slide that I prepared for today that outlines some of our values. Our first value is that retreats are oxygen, that they are essential for humanity's nervous system, that with so much time being spent on our devices and with so much headiness as entrepreneurs that we carry around with us, that the importance of retreats has elevated to where it's not a luxury, it is oxygen. It is truly essential if we're going to have a regulated system. Next, community enhances any business, and we emphasize real community. So just because you put people in a room together doesn't constitute community. And the word community is frankly overused, where we have a WhatsApp community and Facebook communities, and those are online communities, and they're the place for that. However, we distinguish real community where there is this sense of soul family. And anytime you can create that soul family among the people who are with you in your business, your clients, your partners, that will always enhance your business. The stronger the community, the better it is for your business. Next is that leaders must rise together. There does tend to be a default for a lot of leaders towards ego or competition or scarcity. In some ways, that's just part of the human experience. It's our job as leaders to manage that part of ourselves and instead to choose the higher partnership. I think when we just raise our consciousness and see a higher possibility, then there's ways to really thrive together. There is that abundance available. It takes some conscious effort though. So we do stand by that leaders rise together. And finally, truth will always prevail. There's a lot of phoniness or manipulation out there, various forces with various agendas. And on one hand, it can be tempting to play some of these games, especially in a marketing sales type context, in order to achieve certain results. No one is immune to it in business. And what we're standing for is a higher vibrational frequency, one where truth is always going to be the North Star. And that's what we stand by. As you get to know me and Monsi, if you're just getting to know us right now, or if you know us for a while, then you probably already know this, is that we're committed to doing our inner work. We're committed to delivering what is truth, capital T, as an inner truth, as well as the truth that we see for humanity, right? Not to play games or anything like that. So if you resonate with any of these or all of these, then you're probably in the right place. I would love to hear from you in the chat. Which of these values resonate for you? Or is some value that you have that's not listed here that you would like to share? And then I'll go ahead and read it out loud in the comments. You're all leaders here, so we definitely want to get to know you and what your values are. So go ahead and put in the chat, please. Great, thank you, Serena. Community enhances business. Yes, absolutely. And the stronger the community is, the stronger your business will be. Retreats are oxygen. Yes, Tim, you've been with us for some time now, and we're very excited to be hosting your retreat at the Ark coming up in April. Ashish, community enhances business. We met through one of these communities, of course, so this is a direct result of that leader creating community. The emphasis on real community, yeah, so distinct from putting people in a room and saying go network or something, right? It's really creating community, creates some means intention and oftentimes facilitation to really generate the real community. And truth will always prevail. Wonderful, Carrie. We have a very exciting session lined up for you today. So we're going to do this in two parts. The first is you're going to hear from us, myself and my beloved Monsi, whom I'll be introducing shortly. And then we have our special guest. So every time we have a community architects gathering, we have a special guest, one who is actively leading a retreats community. And this leader will share how they're running their business, what the challenges are, what they've figured out along the way. So it's an opportunity to pull back the curtain. So we're very excited about Allison Kay, who'll be joining us today, who's a co-founder of the Retreat Industry Forum, which is the biggest conference for the retreats industry that I've ever seen, coming up in May. So she's co-founder of that. She'll be up shortly or later on in the session. And then future ones, we have Yannick Silver, Giovanni Marsico, with Maverick as his community, and then Archangel, who are all really, really high level retreat community leaders. So before we get to that, I do want to bring to the stage my beloved, the incredible, brilliant, gorgeous Mansi Shah.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. I'm chiming in from India, and it's always exciting that it's like almost midnight here. And I feel the energy of all the people that are committed to building their own communities. Because, guys, I don't know if you've looked at the stats, but 49,000 Americans have committed suicide in just 2025, which was last year. And this is from CDC, which means that loneliness and depression is on all-time rise. And we need community. Like, we've made ourselves believe that we are fine. We are just great as an individuals. We're self-made. It's not true. We as human beings are designed to thrive in community. We absolutely can get to next levels when we have the right people around us. We're designed to have eye contact. We're designed to have human touch. And Tim, you can chime in here where you've been in community and your own trajectory has completely shifted, right? Like from how you were doing more of an online business and now you're full blown in the retreat business and you have a thriving community that nurtures you. And how have you found yourself now in the new realm of doing what you're doing?
Thanks, Monsi. I live in both worlds. It's like a hybrid, not unlike what we're doing right now, where my clients, I work with clients during the week on Zoom, but then it's all anchored by in-person multi-day experiences where transformation has the time and space to occur. And my experience is that what I've noticed with my clients, they can't access the same level of transformation, one over Zoom and two at an hour at a time. Even if they're in a community container, just the physics of it don't allow for transformation to occur the same way. It's the retreat model itself is being with the same humans for multiple days in a row, where there's time and space for us to mind the deeper emotions and the deeper energies that get packed down by our daily logistics. You don't have the time and space to do that anywhere else. And it's what humans need today. We're used to being in small groups. We're used to being in person. We've got a 70,000 year track record of that. So, that's what this nervous system and this body needs. It needs to be around physical humans in small groups for periods of time. And so this model has absolutely been transformational for me in the last year, being your guys' client, coming to your retreats. Because here's the thing for everyone who's on this call, what I want to say is I will go to John and Monsi's retreat center and be filled up as a retreat participant, and then my cup overflows into my retreat community, like on the back end of that. And so it's been like I've had a breakthrough in my own ability to hold space as a leader in my retreats by coming and being in your container first. So it's been a really great ride.
Thank you, Tim. And this is the retreat center there that you're talking about, where you actually come and get nurtured, and you are hosting your own retreat here. because you're a big advocate of keeping it in the tribe, right? And also you love, you have a longevity circle. So you love having the biohacking aspect that we have with the red light bed and the sauna and all the other gadgets we've got. The dome, the geodome is absolutely beautiful to host your session. So this is our little, I would say, 4-acre arc that we are absolutely in love with, and we've nurtured it. It's the energy, the frequency that we hold here that is absolutely amazing. And here's our beautiful community. We've had almost about 500 to 700 folks go through ARC in last year and a half, 2 years that we've been live for. And in 4 years of doing these retreats, we've had a few thousand people go through our retreats, and it's been a beautiful, beautiful journey. So thank you, Tim, for sharing, and thank you, John, for giving me the stage.
Of course, darling. Yeah, so we are in San Diego in the mountains area. So if you know San Diego at all, it's the West Ramona area. So just east of Del Mar, about 40 minutes. So an hour from the airport, very, very accessible. A little bit about us. So Retreatpreneur Mastermind is a curated community of established entrepreneurs hosting in-person retreats and leading masterminds as an integral part of their business. So who we serve are established entrepreneurs, so not tourist entrepreneurs, the ones who have been in business and are hosting in-person retreats and leading masterminds as an integral part of the business. We deal with leadership, online marketing, profitability, and scaling. And most importantly, this is a safe place to drop in with fellow leaders who get it during some challenging, confusing times right now. This is a big driver force for us, is because this is confusing times right now, that retreats are the safe place to ground, and we provide that for retreat community leaders here at the ARC. I'll share a little bit about how we got to this point. In 2018, I was leading hotel ballroom seminars and earning about $250,000 per year, charging $5,000 per client and having about 25 people in the room. I always liked the more intimate environments. Now, there are people who had much bigger businesses than me, and there were people who were not at that level. Whatever the case, I found myself in the room with a lot of 6, 7, 8-figure earners, where that was the benchmark, right? You had to be a 6-figure earner again by edge of these joint venture summits for the speaking coaching industry. And one thing that was really pervasive was this burnout factor that I saw with so many leaders who were serving clients and teaching them the same things over and over again. They found a niche they were known for, whether it's how to convert more from Facebook ads or whatever their thing was. And they would have to repeat that over and over. And I was sitting next to one internet marketer who's doing about 10 million a year. If I said his name, some of you would know him for sure. And when it was his turn in the hot seat, he just covered his face and said, I have no idea what I'm passionate about anymore. Like, that really struck me as a glimpse into what happens if you stay on this train. There was someone else who said, this coaching industry is a house of cards. And I bring this up because it's important to note how industries are changing now. And the coaching industry is very young, gang. I mean, you take even something like the movie industry, which is 100 something years old, you see how much that has changed, right? We thought movie houses are going to be around forever, right? That game has changed a lot. And the coaching industry has really only been around since 2010 or so. I see Brendan Burchard's The Millionaire Messenger, released in 2011, as being kind of like the point at which things really hit and took off in the coaching industry, and where a lot of people were signing up for seminars. And it wasn't just Tony Robbins, it was like all kinds of people were hosting seminars and selling programs and filling rooms. And by this point, though, things had changed a lot. And in 2018, we're beginning to see the writing on the walls, right? That people were getting burnt out from from buying programs that didn't deliver, which isn't really a fault of the design of the leader so much. Is just that it's a lot to design a program that really works for people. And then so much of their focus is on marketing and all that. On my end, I got so burnt out of the repetition myself, and it just felt like Groundhog Day over and over again. And when I really sat with what's in my heart, what really lights me up, it's bringing people together, from the house parties I threw in high school when my parents were traveling up to the dinner parties I would host at my place. It was bringing people together. And I would assert that if you're here, you probably resonate with that as well. And maybe you've kept that separate from your business, or it's not as integrated and at its fullest expression as it can be. And there's a beautiful intersection that's happening now. As COVID, people are wanting something that is really deep in community and experiential. So the whole hotel ballroom scenario has largely gone online, because in that guru model, it's suitable for adapting to online, where it's more about the information the leader has. Our game here, where we are community building, is about transformation. And Monty and I put our stake in the ground 3 years ago, and we have earned well over $1 million now by this point in the past 3 years, with putting community front and center, curated community. So we're going to use the remainder of my time before we bring up the Allison Kay, who's just joined us, to look at your retreat communities and where things are and how to up level it that much more. When I say retreat communities, by the way, some examples would be Joe Polish, who has his 100K mastermind, which I always liked how brazen the name of that mastermind is, where he has enough brand recognition where he can just say it's 100K and then you apply and see if it's a fit. However, you don't have to be at a level like that. Our friend Brad Hart, who is our featured guest presenter 2 sessions back, he has Optimus, which is especially for AI, how to work AI in your business. It's a curated community. You must be at a certain level of business in order to be in it. And it's very specialized with AI. And something like that only works if there's an in-person retreat component, which I think in their structure, they meet 3 times a year, right? It's just carve out AI and then the partnerships ensue from there. Amber Spears with 4 Rooms Mastermind. There's never been more retreat communities than today. And if you're here, I would assert that there's probably something here for you to look at of how it can grow your business and develop your leadership and have much greater impact in the world. I'm going to bring up a real simple structure here. Your retreat community must have what we call XRX. The first X stands for expertise. So you as a leader must be an expert in something. Very important. So myself, I was a speaker trainer and facilitator trainer for 7 years. I've been hired by HBO and Google to train their employees with their presentation skills. I love leadership training and development. And I love creating live events and creating communities that people keep coming back over and over. So I was a music and arts event promoter. I had an event that was the 3rd Saturday of each month that had 300 people come over and over again. It was like their Cheers bar. And I've done that in the personal development space with entrepreneurs. So that is my expertise. As we go through this, I invite you to consider, what is your expertise that your people are looking to you for? If you have clients, then it's the thing that your clients pay you for right now. Like, unless you're going through a shift, but in the scaling sense, it would be, what are your clients paying you for currently? That would be your expertise. Next is the R, which stands for relationship. And when you have a retreat community of entrepreneurs, and generally those are the people we work with, is that these are mastermind leaders who have entrepreneurs or investors inside their mastermind, then having some marquee names goes a long way. whom can you poll? Who can introduce you to? What conferences can you go to where you can ask the speaker if they would be interested in coming to your retreat? That is a way of creating more relationship value for your participants. So we've had Larry Namer, the founder of E! Entertainment Television, at a $3 billion exit. He came to one of our retreats. We've had Marie Diamond from The Secret as a feng shui icon. Like, she's come to our retreats before. And then certainly the relationships with the other members where they are on the same journey together, and how valuable that will be for them to be making introductions and masterminding with each other. So that's the second component that you must have. And then the third X is experiences. It's been said we're in the experience economy. We are well into the hundreds of billions of dollars right now in terms of the retreats and experiences economy. And especially with the younger generation, gang, like, this is what people are really willing to spend their hard-earned money for. So what can you create as an original experience? What we do with our members is that we went to Dominican Republic last year, and that was a wonderful convergence, right? Like, 60 of us went there. In January, we'll be going to India, which is nothing better if
Yes, I'm
you're
really excited for that.
yes.
I'm already scouting.
Well, to say, having an insider like Monsi as your guide is the way to do India. Uh, Other experiences that we've seen people have, Amber Spears, were in her 4 rooms mastermind, where she took over the entire, like, Hotel Del, right, for a portion, right? And it was pretty baller move on her part, to say the least, right? So something that is unforgettable that people remember. Now, you don't have to be playing at that level, gang. It could be something like you're going to go on a hike in some beautiful part of nature, right? And then give people the opportunity to really pause and reflect and drop in. But it's got to be something that is unforgettable. And you really get to activate your creativity with this. So I'd love to hear from you all in the chat. Uh, what do you see your retreat community having with these 3 areas of expertise, relationships, experiences? It could be one of these, it could be all 3. This is our workshop portion of our time today. Expertise, relationships, experiences. What's opening up for you that could be included as part of your retreat community?
Let's do something popcorn style to take a couple shares.
Absolutely. We can check in with Sean Michael. Seriously considering hosting a retreat here in Guatemala, where I live. Sean, do you want to come on and share with us about your retreat in Guatemala? I like the name too, Identity Disruptor.
So I'm in early stages, but I love living here in Guatemala, and I know there's so much to offer. But what I'm envisioning is my expertise is in resetting identity, like letting go of old identities that are limiting us and those ceilings. But I'd like to bring on some experts in somatics and speaking, because I know a lot of people, one of the greatest fears most people have is speaking up, public speaking or otherwise. I've heard that old saying, people are more afraid of public speaking than death. I don't know how real it is, but that's, I look at it as that's just an old story that's just keeps replaying in our head. It's not true. It's an old experience that we keep replaying the thought.
Yeah, that's a major reason I love training speakers for as long as I did. And with our community here, that's still a big part of that leadership training and development, as Tim, Nathan, you all have experienced directly. And absolutely, when it comes to the transformation of your people, I love focusing on the public speaking because all people's stuff comes up: self worth, Like, will anyone care about what I have to say? So I think that's really, really vibrant and useful and transformational for folks. When it comes to the unique experiences or the relationships, what would you see there, Sean?
Trying to find the button. So because I've lived here 11 years, I have a lot of knowledge in some of the unique like yoga and Ayurveda locally here, either at Lake Atitlan or in a small town just outside Antigua, which is a really popular spot. Um, a volcano hike, because there's some really amazing hikes that you can do and see a live volcano up close and personal. Reconnect with nature, the green space, because I know that's extremely, it's really valuable in my life. Grounding. Um, yeah, that's where I'm at on that.
Yeah. Anyone else getting excited hearing Sean describe this? Right? You had me at a volcano. One of the things that's really important, gang, too, is to get why we say community. It's a lot of work to produce retreats. And one major thing that we're disrupting, and that's why we call this Community Architects Gathering, and every expert we'll be bringing on, as you'll get to know Allison Kay shortly, as a community built around the retreats, is that one, it's criminal to crack someone open at a retreat and then leave them hanging to go back to their spouses and jobs if they have one, how life was before. So we have a responsibility to offer an ongoing container. And when you position it as a responsibility, like it's a moral, ethical responsibility to offer an ongoing container, this tends to disrupt any notions of like, oh, it's weird if I sell something and all that, because you're just making it about yourself and your own weirdness around sales. Really, it's a responsibility we have to offer ongoing. And having your membership to your community will, I'll put it bluntly, save your ass at times when it comes to the up and down roller coaster cash flow of being a retreatpreneur, as we call it, an entrepreneur who uses retreats to grow their business. And there have been times where, we may not have anyone sign up for a month or two. And it's the membership dues that are able to keep the wheels turning here. So we're huge believers that you must have a retreat community. And if you're interested in how that works, then we'd love to talk with you further. Tim is echoing this. I love it. It's really nice seeing monthly subscriptions just dump into my bank account. Can you share a little more about that, Tim? Your wife loves it too.
Well, yeah, man, cash flow. It's, it's the lifeblood of your business. And so when you have people in a container for a year that are paying monthly, two things happen. One, they're paying more because you offer them a discount if they're going to do full pay up front. So you make more money on your monthly subscriptions. And two, you have to have monthly income to manage. I mean, it's just a no-brainer. So have a combination of clients who give me big chunk checks, which is kind of dopamine rich when you get those big deposits, but at the same time, that money gets spent, on the business or on your expenses that month or the following month, and 4 months later, you've still got bills to pay. Having this combination of the two has been just, a lifesaver. And like my wife's really happy, and so when clients are like, well, I'd rather do the monthly, I'm just like, cha-ching, sure, happy to set you up on that. Because for me, the way I set it up is if you pay up front, it's basically like a 10-month subscription. If you make the monthly payments, it's a 12-month subscription. It's like most software as service models, and so there's a reason why that works.
Yeah, I learned this lesson when I was doing the music and arts festivals, gang, where if you think about how that model works, it's not dissimilar to how many retreat leaders approach their business, where You put all the upfront costs of production and marketing, and you're relying on ticket sales. And if ticket sales exceed your production and marketing costs, then what's left over is called your profit. Only oftentimes there's not nearly as much profit as you would like after all that production and marketing costs, to say nothing of your time and energy and stress and anxiety that might have gone. You should be compensated for all that, right? So it was a really painful, topsy-turvy 3 years of my life, 28 through 30. And it wasn't until I went to personal development and got cracked open to the seminar industry that I saw, oh, there's models here that you can have an ongoing community that you're part of. And it just made sense. When transformation is your game, especially, it just makes sense to be offering this. Nathan, you said, I love that distinction. What distinction are you referring to?
I really love Tim's distinction between the high of a big check and the comfort of a continuous check, continuous rolling schedule. Now, a retreat can be a really big giant check. Yeah, you might make 300 grand or 6 figures from one retreat, and that's your big dopamine, and that fuels the next one and the next one. But it's the ongoing flowing energy of a river of monthly money that's stable. That's more comforting than the rush. And I like that distinction. They're both valuable, but yeah, there's a reason why lottery winners run out of money.
Yeah, 100%, right? Grounding our nervous system, gang. It's what it's all about. That we as retreat community leaders are taking on the responsibility of helping others ground their nervous system. So guess where it starts, right? Right over here. So having the sustainable monthly income coming in allows you to have this grounded nervous system, and then to frankly evolve into a more mature entrepreneur that way. Where budgeting, hiring, from your marketing budget, your operations budget, you're able to do all these things. Yes, this is a marathon, not a sprint, after all. So true. So does anyone feel like this is too much for you to take on, that you don't know where to start? I want to check in to see if anyone has that in your space at all.
I'll share. Hi.
I mean, I've done 15 retreats and I still feel like it's too much to take on. It's always going to be like that. Like, it's like being a mom, right? Like having kids is like something that you generate. So, Sorina, you're ready to share how you feel
Sure.
about this?
Sure, yeah. So I'm kind of early in my retreats journey. And so I've hosted 2 so far. And I was like, wow, that is a lot of work compared to other types of events. Like by trade, I've been an event producer my whole career. So I've done plenty of different types of events, and retreats were a different animal for me when it's a smaller group of people, a higher ticket price. It's different than when you're doing the big concerts and like big sold out rooms. So yeah, I'm still learning the strategy behind it. So it feels like I'm in the right place right now.
Yeah, well, acknowledgments to you for producing 2 so far. What would you say were your biggest lessons from those 2?
My first one, traveling to Mexico, was just extra logistics that I could have skipped and would have had great results just doing it here in California. And then that finding kind of led me towards I do want to be able to produce retreats at my house and just create simplicity in that way.
Yeah, we're looking forward to connect with you more, because that's what we have done over
Yeah,
here.
I see that. Yeah.
Yeah, and we got sick and tired basically of renting other venues.
Yeah.
And decided to put a stake in our ground. And the vibration and frequency, those of you who have been here knows it's different when like we're with the owner or steward of the property is actually on site. I know we show up differently as a result, and truly that soul family comes alive so much more. Your first point is very resonant too. One of the things that we point out is that retreat leaders will oftentimes think more like an artist than an entrepreneur, where an artist might say, I feel like painting that painting or making that music album. A retreater will say, I feel like doing a retreat in Bali or Tulum or Costa Rica. And hopefully I get paid for this. Hopefully I make money at these things. That's kind of like an artist's approach versus an entrepreneur, as often said, location, location, location. If you have a brick and mortar, well, a similar principle can apply to your retreats and having a local audience to really start out at, where this is where a rock band that is being entrepreneurial would approach it as, we're going to grow our local following first, and then you build up to the larger tours and arenas and all that. Right? But you got to have that local following of people who are stoked to see you. It's kind of like the first hurdle to jump through, and it just makes sense, you know, as a business venture to be doing it this way. So big learnings, and you were meant to go through and the experience, and it'll make the local ones even easier for you. And now, you know, designing in such a way to really maximize the impact of it.
Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely. Great to have you here. All right, gang. So Monty and I have Retreat to Legacy coming up here at the Arc, April 17th through 19th. This is our 3-day summit for retreat community leaders and mastermind leaders who are using in-person retreats to grow their business. So it's a very, very unique container where you're going to hear from experts who've been doing this for years, who've made how they market, how they lead their masterminds. So it's a private invite only community. So if you are new, where you're ready to join this curated community. So this is our highest level contacts that we bring together. We work on the marketing, the scaling, the profitability, and leadership of the mastermind and retreat community leaders. So if that's something that you are interested in joining us, even if you think maybe one day, someday, take the fact that you're listening to this right now as a sign that there's something here for you. And then that's why we do the one-on-ones, is to be able to customize for you what the journey looks like. We absolutely love dropping in further, and then this is opportunity to see the alignment of what truly would support you most on this. Another thing that we really love is bringing up the generational wealth aspect. I'll just mention that briefly, that so many retreat community leaders on this hamster wheel of one event to another. So what does really scaling, exiting generational wealth actually look like when you do this for a living? So if that interests you, you also get to experience that at Retreat to Legacy. Honey, anything you want to add?
Well, and it's in San Diego. It's always a great reason to come to SoCal and have a great time in April with us at the Arc. So this is for founders who know that retreats is the future. I mean, if you look at AI, it's completely cloning people right now. Like I went and recorded 7 hours of my, voice and my body movements and all that, and now the team is ready to clone me. So what's real, what's not? The truth is that retreats will always stay as the truest, most amazing form of human connection. And that's why we're standing for retreats as a methodology for leaders to rise and win this entrepreneurship game.
Gang, we know firsthand the frustration, the confusion, the anxiety that goes with playing this. So we're here to relieve you of that, to present a clear pathway forward, how you can be earning 6 figures plus from your next retreat, creating communities like Brendan, Scotty O have done that, 133,000 from his retreat community launch, 125,000 from Scotty O. So this is what happens when you come to the Retreat to Legacy event, and the relationships and the networking is just so expansive there. It's massive up-leveling for you and your business and your mission. So Ella posted the link there. You can see our Calendly link. This is a complimentary 30-minute connection call. You can go ahead and book a time there. I would do that now if anything resonates with you from what we've covered so far. You want to drop in further and see what your retreat community leader journey can truly look like when it's at its most successful and aligned. We're going to take a short break and then bring up Allison Kay. So if you want to use the next couple minutes to refresh yourselves, book time with us at the link, and then we'll pick it up with the Allison Kay. We'll be back in 2 minutes.
Recording stopped. Recording in progress.
Welcome back, gang. I'd like to now officially introduce our special guest presenter for this edition of Community Architects Gathering. Allison Kay began her journey as a competitive swimmer in her teenage and college years, where she developed the discipline, resilience, and mindset required to reach one's full potential. You'll get a distinct taste of that resilience and strength when you meet her shortly. Today, as a fitness innovator and entrepreneur, she helps others build hybrid business models that serve both their clients and their personal vision. Her work is rooted in the belief that true success comes from aligning health, wellness, and innovation with intentional personal and professional growth, empowering others to create not just successful businesses, but lives they truly desire. She is also the co-founder of the Retreat Industry Forum, coming up May 14th through 17th in Denver. As I mentioned earlier, the biggest retreats industry conference that is, in my experience, ever happened. And she is the co-founder of it. And she's also the head of her retreats community called Allison Kay Retreats. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for the Allison Kay.
Well, thanks. I feel like a true celebrity after that. So I'm really excited to be here with all of you today. And what I want to talk about for just a few minutes is what I really hear a lot in my work when I work with entrepreneurs on building retreats or building different revenue streams within their business that complement their retreats is one of the biggest things that I hear is that they struggle to actually fill their spots. And so one of the things that I've sort of developed in how I work and help people is help them develop what I call a sellable retreat promise. Now, let me just explain for just a minute, in my view, what that means. And if you guys have comments or your own input on what you think a retreat promise is, please feel free to put them in the chat, and I'm happy to entertain all of that. But the thing about the retreat promise is that it's what people buy. So I want you to let that sink in for a minute. A retreat promise is what people want out of your experience. And what I find 9 times out of 10 when I talk with retreat leaders and they tell me, I don't know why my spots aren't filling, I'm trying to do this, I'm trying to do that, and I still have open spots. And so one of the first questions I always ask is, what am I going to get? What am I going to walk away with? So the analogy I want you to think about is this, is that I want you to think of your business like the storefront. Okay. So you think of like one of the most favorite places that you like to go shop. And even if you're not a shopper, just humor me here for a minute. So if you've got like a boutique storefront, that you like to go in your spare time or whatever, and you walk in, and I want you to imagine that the storefront is your business and all of your offers are displayed. So maybe you have a wall with all of your retreats, and you have a display case that has like your coaching programs or your products or, the other things that you sell. And so when people walk into your storefront and you wait on them and you help them make a selection on what they want, okay, they actually put it in the bag and they leave. So you wrap everything up and they walk out of your store with a bag. And then you run into your best friend in the parking lot, later, and they say, Allison, what did you buy? You're not going to tell them a transformative, beautiful experience in Costa Rica where we have a private chef and all this other stuff. You're going to tell them exactly what you bought. And your retreat promise needs to be that clear. Okay, so it needs to be that clear because the promise is actually what people buy. And so the reason that I use that analogy is that I think it's pretty clear to people when I say that. But most retreat leaders sell the experience, okay, instead of the transformation. And your promise is the transformation. That's the point I want to make. And so a lot of times in marketing, when I read sales pages or people's social media or whatever, and I read them, and they're beautiful sales pages, and I'll see pictures of beautiful locations, beautiful groups, getting together in circles, doing, yoga on the beach, whatever. But I'm not seeing anything about how my life is going to change when I get home. And instead, it might be written like in a sentence at the bottom, or it might be like an abstract that you have to try to figure out yourself. Newsflash to everybody listening. Don't make people figure out what they're going to get because you'll lose them. Okay. You have to be super clear about what people are going to get when they work with you. Okay. So without a clear promise, okay, you can't explain what makes your retreat different. Okay. You only attract the tire kickers, I call them, the people who are just looking for the freebies, right? And look, I've not got nothing against giving away good free resources. I mean, please don't misunderstand me, but we're all in business and we don't just want to be giving away free stuff. Okay. I mean, I'm just going to be blunt about that. So without a clear promise, you're designing around the things that really don't distinguish you and really don't matter at the end of the day. Okay. Because this is what we hear so much in the retreat space too, is what makes your experience different than a vacation or a getaway with friends or something else. And it's one of my biggest frustrations with the retreat industry, and why I feel like so much of the time we have to spend so much time explaining what makes our retreat or event different. We don't want to get lumped into the vacation bucket, as I call it. And I've got nothing wrong with taking vacations. I do them myself. I think they're necessary for everybody. Okay. But this is a big, big problem in the retreat industry now, because when retreats got really popular several years ago, they were pretty much built in the travel industry first. And then service entrepreneurs figured out that this is a great way to get people together in person to help them experience the result that you want them to get. So now what we're seeing in the retreat industry is kind of this split. We're seeing the people over here who are still marketing it like a vacation and a getaway. And then we've got serious service entrepreneurs that really want to help their clients get results. And the problem now is that the public thinks they're all the same thing. And so the opportunity is always in using your promise to explain what people are going to get and how their life is going to change as a result. Okay. So your promise matters because it's the foundation of everything. Okay. So your promise should impact your marketing and your positioning, why you charge, what your pricing is all about. Okay. What's your online program if you're inviting them into a community or a container afterwards, or maybe your retreat is part of that. Okay. Your whole business strategy should be based around your promise. So what I want to do real quick is give you guys some questions to help get you started. And then I've got a free resource I'm going to share with you so that maybe you guys could workshop on this on your own. And hopefully if you're struggling with getting your promise clear, then maybe this can help move you further along in that direction. So here are the questions that I want you all to start with. Okay. Number one, okay, what is the work that I do? And this is where I find people get stuck first. Okay. So you want to get super specific about the work you do. Not I help people grow their business. Not I help people add retreats into their business. What do you actually do? Do you help them create an offer? Do you help them increase their pricing? Do you help them fill a retreat? Be specific. What is the work that you do? Okay. Question number two, what is the result that you help people get? Okay. In other words, what do they walk away with right away? Not 6 months down the road or a year down the road, but right away. Okay. Not clarity. And let me just be clear here. No fluffy language. Okay. If you can't already tell, I'm a pretty direct, straight shooter. And fluffy, flowery language is amazing, but it doesn't tell me anything about what I'm going to get. So save that for like writing poetry or when you write your book, but not for a sales page. Okay. Don't use words like clarity, transformative promise, life-changing coaching. Doesn't tell me anything about what you do. I'm not saying anything's wrong with it, but it's just not clear. Okay. What are they going to get? In other words, the Monday morning, how is their Monday morning going to be different? Okay. People buy their weekend, sort of. They really buy the morning. And that's really what I want to sink in for all of you with your retreats, is that people don't buy the chance to go out of town and get together. They buy what their life's going to be like on Monday morning afterward. Okay. All right. Question number three. What's the outcome that I help people get? This is actually the transformation. This is what's different from the result. Okay. The result helps people get the transformation, but they're not the same thing. Okay. Number four. What does their life look like 6 months to a year down the road? Okay. So in other words, how are they showing up in their life a year from now after coming to your retreat? What does their calendar look like? How are they having conversations? Okay. What does their business look like? Okay. What do they say no to more? What do they say yes to more? These are the real things that people want at the end of the day. And I like to throw in 2 brand identity questions. Okay. So one is, what are you for and what are you against? Actually, that's both of them right there. Because in today's world, people want real authenticity. People don't want fake, flowery, AI manufactured, whatever, like you guys were talking about a little bit ago. People want to know that you're a real human. They want to know what you stand for. What are you for? What excites you? What do you love about your work? And then what I like to call, who do you throw stones at, right? Like, how can you point a finger at your competitors, but do it in like a respectful way, right? And then last question is, what do you really want people to say that you help them achieve? So in other words, think about when someone writes you a testimonial, I want you to think about that ahead of time with your promise. This is what people are going to say about my retreat and the work that we did afterward. Okay. Not working with Tim was great. Not that. But here's what Tim helped me do. Here's how my life is different. Before going to Tim's retreat, here's what my life looked like. Now here's the way that I live every day. That kind of thing. Okay. So those are 7 questions to get you started. And I realize I've thrown a lot at you, and you may not be able to like respond to me today with them. But that's okay. But this is where the work begins if you really want to get super clear with your promise. Okay.
Allison, can you give some examples of this, whether in your business or clients you work with, how they answer these questions?
Yeah. So with the questions, the reason that I start with the work that they do is some people lead. The reason that this is such an important question is people lead often with their experience. They lead with, I've been in the industry 20 years. Like in my case, my wheelhouse is the health and fitness industry because that's where I built my first business. But what I see a lot with my colleagues is they'll say, well, I've been in the fitness industry for 20 years and I've owned 3 studios and I've worked with thousands of people. Okay, so what? That doesn't tell me how it's going to help me. Okay. So here's one promise. I just want to read like a promise that I worked on with a client before and then what we came up with after. Okay. This was a business coaching client that I worked with. Her promise was, get this, come to my Costa Rica retreat. We'll do 3 days of deep work and connection in a beautiful spot. And I was like, okay, that doesn't tell me anything about what I'm going to get if you're going to help me with my business. So what we did was we workshop using some of these questions. So what we had to get clear on was the actual work that she does with her clients, like what the lane is. Okay. And what are some examples of the results that she helps her clients get? And here's what we came up with for her retreat promise. After spending 3 days in Costa Rica, you will walk away with your 10K offer built, priced, and ready to sell, plus a transcript to book qualified sales calls. So most of the people coming to her retreat didn't know how to price something, and they didn't know how to build a roadmap so that they could actually talk to people. So that was kind of the gist of her retreat. So I said, well, your promise needs to speak to that. So when we went through these questions, we had to dig in to get super specific on the lanes that she was really good at in her work, what the short-term result is, what they're going to take home, in other words. And then later on, what do people's businesses look like? Does that help? Does that give you kind of a concrete answer? That's just one
Yes,
example.
that was a great example. So let's open it up to others here. I know, Tim, I'm looking at you since you've been in our community for a while and you have a retreat coming up. Would you like to run your promise by Allison Kay and get her feedback?
I don't have a promise. It's a delivery event. I'm reading through all this stuff going, oh, I got work to do. And so, no, I would not like to.
So is your retreat then, is it like a self-contained event then?
Yeah.
Okay.
The one that's on the calendar, yes, that one is. But I work in the grief space, and my joke is I offer the least sexy retreats on the calendar anywhere because no one wants to go on a grief retreat. And so I have a very hard time getting people into the original. I have a kind of a multi-tiered business model with multi-level retreats. Getting them to the very first retreat is like it's a miracle that they show up. The people who are in the room on Friday night, I'm just like, God bless you. This is a miracle. I know you don't.
Why is that, if you don't mind me asking?
What's that?
Why is that? It's hard to get them to that first retreat.
Because grief is so overwhelming for people, for their nervous system. They're going to go to an event with a bunch of strangers and talk about something they don't want to talk about. They barely can put into words. And every time they try to use words, they start to cry or they're overwhelmed by their emotions. So it's just easier to try to stay distracted and ignore it.
I get that. I have a client who does grief retreats, and she fills them like that. As soon as she opens up her sales page, she fills them.
Okay.
And I'm just sharing that with you because I think that I get it. I get what you're saying. I know that grief is like everyone has their own journey, but I would really challenge you, if you don't mind me saying so, to just really think about what's that first win that you could really get them with that first retreat. Like maybe it's just getting out of the routine and giving themselves permission to do something different. like part of Best Retreats is she wants her people to connect with joy again.
Yes.
So that's what she talks about a lot in her messaging.
Interesting. That's the promise of my first retreat, which is that grief and joy can coexist authentically.
Yep.
And they experience it on the retreat. And then they're like,
Yeah.
wow.
And I would
didn't know
also
that was-"
think that part of your promise would be helping people connect with others who are on the same journey with them. Like, look, you're going to be in the room with people who understand you and where you are.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't have to do this alone.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's part of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm a music therapist. So I offer a music-based approach to grief
Okay.
healing. So
Okay.
they don't have to talk about it. So they actually play through their grief rather than work through their grief.
Mhm.
And people don't even, that offers like a window into, I don't even know what he meant by that, but
Yeah,
that's
I can
really
see that. I
interesting.
can see
to
where
me.
that might be confusing for people.
Yeah, it's like both
Yeah.
intriguing and
Mhm.
confusing
Yeah.
because it's part
So
of
what
what
if
makes
you
me unique.
position music, and I'm just using music since that's what you mentioned. What if you
Yeah.
position music as a way to help connect to your spirit again? Or a way for you to experience enjoying life again? Right? If that's kind of what you're using people, what your method of using people, my words aren't coming out right now, but
It's okay.
the method that you're using to help people connect with themselves again.
Yeah, no, I think oftentimes I struggle with not wanting to talk about the process and wanting to talk about the result, except that my process is what makes me, that's my unique selling point.
Yeah.
Is
I
that
get
it's
it.
a play-based, music-based approach.
Yeah, I
So
get
it's
it.
like I kind of need to tell them about the process because
But
at-
how do you really want people to feel afterward? Like, imagine you're someone who's been to one or two of your retreats, like it's been a
Yep.
year. What does their life look like? Because underneath it all, regardless of whether or not people are ready, it's still what they want.
Yeah. They feel good about feeling good. They know how to feel good. And they like on demand. They know how to access feeling good on demand. So, and they have a community to fall back on and move forward in along the way that's not content with circling the grief forever, but moving through it and past it and beyond it. And they're really interested in is what lays beyond their grief.
Yeah. I really think the connection piece and learning to connect to yourself and, know that there's life on the other side. It's like, that's kind of your down the road promise.
Yep.
So
That is.
Yeah. It sounds like you do really good work. So props to you.
Well, I appreciate that. And the fact that you work with another person in the grief space, would you mind sharing who they are? Because I'm always trying to connect.
Yeah, her name is Beth Levin.
Levin?
Levin, Levin.
Brilliant. Appreciate
that. Joyous Again is her business.
Oh, that's so good.
We worked really hard on that with her.
So succinct. Oh
we
my
worked
God.
really hard on that with her promise.
That took
That's
so much
really
time
what she
to
wants people to
sculpt
have.
that. Yeah, that's really good. Down to 2 words.
Yep.
Well done.
Well, the name of your retreat community is pretty solid too, Tim. You want to share that?
Thank you. No.
What is it?
It's called Radiant Ascent.
Oh, I love it.
Thank
I love
you.
it.
But I think Joyous Again slams it on the floor. It's even better. So
Well,
it's like,
Radiant,
holy
I like
shit.
Radiant Ascent, but what if you had a little tagline where you explained a little bit more about what that means?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Because
No?
it sounds nice, but it's also like, what do you mean? And
Yeah.
the principle of my coaching is never mind. I feel the need to remember that this is a group session because I want to just go with you right now.
It's all right.
All right, Tim. Thanks so much for sharing.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Allison. That
Let's
was
take
awesome.
1 or 2 more. Who would like to workshop something with the Allison K? Let's remember that this is not a space to be looking good, to be self-conscious, to be worried about saying something dumb. That's not what this is, gang. This is a space to get support from a valuable expert to grow in your business and your mission. So from the questions listed earlier, who would like to get Allison K's feedback?
I could
Do
try to share.
Do it. Go, Serena. I saw you unmute yourself. Go, girl.
Let's do it, Serena.
All right, I'm kind of new and still baking the cake right now.
That's
so
all right.
It feels like a good time to do this. So I am a transformational tantra educator, and I'm trying to stabilize retreats as a cornerstone of my business. And so I feel like the transformation is overcoming their loneliness and learning skills to have meaningful intimacy.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Something around that. And so I think the results is like establishing inner resources for connection and then being able to use that in their life to
Okay, let me ask you a question.
Sure.
What am I going to get when I come to your retreat that's going to make my Monday morning different? Let's say I sign up for your retreat. What's my life going to look like on Monday morning as a result?
I think you'll return with an openness to connect with people in your life, like relationships you already have, approaching them with more radical intimacy, and then also being able to resource like how to set up new relationships.
Okay, what does openness look like?
Great question. I'm trying to not use fluffy language.
I mean, look, I've got nothing against fluffy language. It's just you just need to minimize it on a sales page because people will just skip right over it. That's all.
Yeah.
When you say openness, do you mean get people more comfortable with talking to people? I'm confused on what you mean by openness.
Sure. I think I mean like more in tune with their own desires and feeling safe, inner safety to connect with others.
So is it accurate to say that it's more self-awareness? Is that what you teach? And as a result of having more self-awareness, you feel more comfortable and confident to be able to.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So what I would encourage you to really look at is in your short-term result.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think super tangible. What are like 2 or 3 things that people walk away with from your retreat that's super easy that they can start using in their life right away? Because we know that taking action and doing the reps is what builds confidence. Okay. It's not like consuming all the information. You don't just feel more confident. You become more confident because you're doing it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So your short-term results should be around, like, maybe it's a simple practice. Maybe it's how do you help people become more self-aware so that they take action and then they feel more confident. Then down the road, your 6 to 12 month down the road results in feeling like you can have more meaningful intimacy in your relationships because you feel more confident sharing, right?
Yeah.
That's where I would start if I were you.
Thank you. Okay.
All right. Way to go, Serena. Excited. All right, Allison, how do we stay in contact with you? What do you have coming up?
Well, I have a free resource I'd love to share with your people, if that's okay. It's a resource called the Promise Template, and it has some of the same questions that I gave you today. And I'll just put it in the chat here if that's okay. You can feel free to download that. It's like a 3-page download, and it's got like, it kind of walks you through the process a little bit more. I've kind of like rapid fire with the questions today. And I realized depending on how all you guys learn, you might need some time for it to sink in. So something like this might actually help you better. So you're welcome to take advantage of that. You can come over to my website, check me out. I'd love to stay connected with all of you. And look, you can always just connect with me and say, hey, I've got a question. I'm happy just to answer that for you. But Mancy and John are affiliates for our forum event in May. And so what I've created is I have a link to share with you all. If any of you are interested in coming and checking us out in May in Denver, I will be there with both of my partners. And right now, pretty close to 100 people. I'm having a hard time getting my screen to open up. Bear with me. Okay, so here's the link. Where did you go, John? I can't find you.
Okay, so you should be able to share your screen now. If you want to take us to the page, give us a sense of what's coming at the forum.
Okay, all right, great. All right, here it is. Okay, here is our event. That's me with my two partners, Aaron and Shannon. We both have years of experience in the retreat industry. We'll be in Denver. You can just take this link right off the page. I'll also throw it in the chat for you. 3 days. It's actually 2 days of talks, and then we have a VIP day for that Sunday. But you can take a look at the page. You can see what our plans are. We've got a couple of podcasts that we've recorded together where you can actually hear us talk about what we're going to be doing. Sometimes I think that's always a good next step. It kind of gives you a much better feel. And these are some of our speakers. And I just want to be clear that we don't just have people doing retreats speaking. What we really want to normalize is the idea that doing retreats isn't just for the wellness space. And I'm saying that because I've spent my career in health and fitness, but obviously the work that all of you guys do, as amazing as it is, we have to get more of that out into the world. So regardless of what your industry is, we want to see retreats kind of being normal in-person type experience. And so a lot of our speakers reflect that. They're from different industries and they're talking about how they're using retreats and their expertise in that. So we have two tickets available. We have a standard and we have a VIP. So we would love to see any of you join us at the forum. And if you have any questions, you can just reach out and ask me. I'm happy to answer them for you.
Okay. Fantastic.
Thank you, Allison.
Yeah.
Somebody
Let me
drop
put the
that
link
chat.
here to the page.
Throw that link in the chat.
There's the link.
Yes.
And like I said, Manzi and John have been terrific. They're affiliates for us. So we definitely want to make sure that if you guys do decide to come, that you use this link because we want to support them as well.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you, Allison. We're
Yeah.
so excited for what's coming in
Yeah.
the retreat industry.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of work to be done, but it's a really exciting time to be in this industry too. So
It's projected to be a $500 billion market cap.
I believe it. I believe it. And I have to be honest, as a retreat leader myself, I love helping people make this a way that they can work in their business. But what I really want to see is the people who really want to make this their sole source of income. I want people to believe that it's absolutely possible for them. Because I really think the future, the sky's the limit in the retreat industry.
Nathan, do you have a question?
Yeah, I just wanted to, what's the quickest way to get a hold of you to just simply ask a question? Because I want to go through your questions because I have answers to write for those, but then I want to throw them back at you. But I want to have those done before I talk to you again.
Here, let me, you can just connect with me on my website. Let me get that link for you if you want.
The Allison K, I think I found that.
Yeah, just connect with me on my website and just send me a note and say, hey, I got a question. I'm happy to answer it for you. No problem.
Just through the contact form up there?
Yeah.
When you sign up for the promise template, it also sends you to her schedule page where you can book a 15-minute call with her to go over the template. That's
Thank you.
Well
that would be easy.
Allison,
Thank
by
you.
the way.
Yeah, and I offer that to everybody. So that's fine.
Very cool.
I like that.
Yeah.
Gang, are you happy that we brought Allison K to y'all today? Yes. Thank you so much thank you so much for joining us. I know this came together relatively quickly.
Okay, I'm
and
happy to help and happy to return the favor in another form or fashion. So
yeah, much more to come. All right, gang. So we're gonna let Allison K go now, and we'll stick around for open networking to complete to the top of the hour. So let's send her some love and gratitude. Thank you, Allison.
Thank you. Y'all have a great rest of your week. Okay. Bye.
All right. So now we want to have some open networking where we want to give you the opportunity to share about your business and what are you creating next with community and retreats. So somebody who hasn't gone yet, I'm looking at you, Lynn Bloom.
Let's do it, Lynn.
All right. Well, hey there, Nancy. Hey, John. Good to see you all. Tim, Nathan. So I think Sean was in here. I don't know if he left. Yeah. Hi, Serena. Nice to see you. Yes. So what am I working on? Well, a million things, but the main thing is I am on a mission to activate 100 communities this year. I'm well on my way, and I would just love to come into communities, elevate the expert, and continue to build up their community and help guide this community into going with the leader's next step. That could be a challenge, that could be an offer, a hangout, or just building up the community more. So I'm getting to do that in multiple communities right now, working on my own still. And so that's the main thing that I'm working on right now. And also I'm taking a higher level step with Stacy Lauren. She had spoken, I think it was a couple weeks ago now, and really helping build up the auction so it's more streamlined, and that way there is more impact and income coming in for the billion-dollar impact marketplace. So that includes filling rooms like her auctions and just getting the process down. So that's what the big things I'm working on right now. Thank you for asking. Good to see you all.
Yes, wonderful to have you in the community, Lynn. And if you want to post any way to stay in contact with you, any of your social handles or website, feel free to do that. It's great that you're here in San Diego. We hosted Lynn and Stacey Lauren here at the Arc for my homemade curry. And then we got to walk the property and then create possibilities around more communities in business. So really, really great to have you.
Yes, it was fun and it was beautiful. And every time I do make any curry, not as great as you, obviously, but I'm like brought back to your home. It's pretty cool. It's like such an interesting feeling that smell has, right? Probably the same way like music does, Tim, like the feeling, the healing, the memories, like the subconscious mind being reworked. So, anyways, thank you so much. Okay.
Awesome. All right. Who else have we not heard from yet? How about Gail? Gail, can we bring you up?
Hi, sorry, I'm Lynn's assistant.
Oh, you're Lynn's assistant. Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Wonderful. Cool.
She's
So-
awesome. I just have her tune in the background, and that way, if there's anything we're referring to, then I can tell her immediately of things that we can save or work on for later.
Okay, fantastic. I want to take off the spotlight and just have some open discussion now about anything that you're working on that you could use support with. So who here has something that you're working on that you could use support with when it comes to your clarity around your retreat community or something else in your business that you want to get unstuck around? Maybe there's a resource that you would like to have.
I'll go. I have a question. It's not so much a question. I'm noticing I'm having a mental block right now with my abundance tribe. So everybody, I run a year-long coaching program for people who have grieved the loss of their spouse and now are ready for what's next. And it's built on what I call longevity after loss. And that coaching program includes 3 retreats. And one of them is an international retreat to a blue zone to go immerse ourselves in the culture of longevity where it is happening better than anywhere else. So for example, this summer we're going to Sardinia, the original blue zone. And I'm finding planning international retreats is really challenging logistically. And for participants, I'm noticing my cohort is like my community are typically 60 to 75 in their age range, and they plan international retreat or they plan their own travel, 12 to 18 months in advance. And what I'm noticing right now wanting to open up my coaching program to more people, I'm already like, well, the retreats are coming so soon that people won't have time to plan for them. And so should I only open enrollment in the fall for the following year to give people enough time to plan so that I don't know if you can hear the roadblock in my head as I'm talking right now, John, but what I'm finding is like, I feel like it's too late in 2026 to add anybody into my community. And like the retreat planner that I'm working with already wants the names for everybody in the rooms. We've already booked the rooms. It's like, how do you book rooms when you don't know how many people are coming on your retreat yet, with the chicken or the egg, which is why you guys have a really smart model in having it at your own place, because holy cow, the logistics of planning this stuff has proved to be way more complex than I thought it was going to be.
Hmm. So your question, if you could just bottom
Yep.
line.
So thank you. The question is, I feel like it's too late to add people into my year-long program because the retreats just require people time to plan and their calendars are often already booked. And so that's the obstacle in my head. It's like, and I could use some coaching removing that obstacle.
Well, I think you just said that it's in your head versus out of their mouths, right? So no one has
Well, it's
actually
been
said
both.
to you like, I can't join because I don't have enough notice. Has anyone actually said that to you?
Yeah. People are like,
Okay.
I've already got trips planned for the year. I wish I knew sooner. You know, my budget and my time are already booked for 2026.
Okay.
And it's like,
So does that mean that they can only attend like one or maybe two retreats?
It's been that, yeah, like one person, someone's getting married on that weekend, so they're going to miss one of the retreats. Another person's like, I've got 3 trips planned internationally this year already. I don't want to plan another one, and I can't afford to add that much more, into my budget for the year. So I've gotten specific feedback from people as to why they don't want to join the community, because 2026 is essentially, already planned out. And I'm like, whoa, okay, that's an interesting challenge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's no quick fix around this other than just to keep having conversations, and then the right people will show up, and then they'll make it work.
Yeah.
There's always ways to continue supporting people outside of coming to the physical retreat. So something that we haven't actively played with, it sounds like you're running into this more than we have, is having a virtual version where obviously, again, we all get that it's not as good as the in-person. However, if it means that they can participate versus not participate, it's something to consider. Having very reasonable hours of, say, like 6 hours a day would be like the max, I would say, where you'd be bringing the people on Zoom so they have like a community experience where they're able to drop in with each other. So that's something to consider if it means them participating versus not participating.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
I've
what the
already
appetite for the future as well.
Yeah, I think what I'm hearing in my own head also is like I'm letting the concerns outweigh the transformation. Like I'm not present to the transformation that's possible on the retreat, and I'm just letting people's concerns just dictate whether or not working with me is the right thing for them this year. Like this template with the promise, like I notice the promise is missing in my head. All I'm present to are people's logistics, their concerns.
I think that's really important. So we like Allison because she is such a straight shooter, and as we were prepping for this, really standing by the promise being clear. So one of her co-founders, Shannon, she posted something I liked this morning, which is this regarding retreats. Y'all can see this. If it's not selling, it's not clear.
That's so good. It's
right?
so clean.
So people will say all kinds of things like, oh, the dates don't work. I got this or that going on, the money or whatever.
Yep.
However, what they themselves probably don't realize is that they're not clear on the results they're going to gain. So it is absolutely worth taking time to craft this. And after you craft it some more, right? it's an ongoing thing, especially in a crowded marketplace, is that the clearest one wins.
Yeah, well said. Yeah, I think this year is also going to help, having gone, like, once I've actually led these 3 retreats, because they're all new. Right now, it's still all very heady and conceptual, but after they've happened and I can witness what's happened, like, the reason I can sell people into my integration program so well after my existing phase 1 grief retreats is, like, I've witnessed the transformation that they have. I know it's not like I'm wondering what it is. I know what they get. And so I think this year for me is this, like, a discovery, like, I'm making this shit up as I go. I don't really know. That's kind of how I feel. And yet that's where you have to stand. You have to stand in that vision that you've made up first, as if it's real. And that's how it becomes it's real. So it's like the chicken or the egg. So just this conversation is helping me kind of reframe, like, no, I have to stand as a visionary. I have to stand in that vision just as clear as if I've already led it, and stand in that. And actually, I should probably do that on a morning basis. Like, I should have like a 5-minute vision exercise where I'm envisioning the promise being delivered, so that it just, my nervous system starts to relate to it like real. And I could see why then I could be more unreasonable in my, like, no, like, I'm going to stand for you making all of this work, and then empowering people to make this shit work, rather than just being like, okay.
Yeah, you can come from the place that someone will move mountains literally to make it to your retreat and join your community.
Yeah.
And trust that if at some point you're being really unreasonable, that part of you will become activated. And then you'll be able to understand where they're coming from. But until then, just take a stand that this is the most important thing in their entire life.
Yeah.
So of course they're going to make the time and come up with the money and do everything possible to be there.
Yeah. I appreciate that.
All right, gang, let's hear some takeaways as we're coming at the top of the hour, maybe from one person. What's something you're taking away from today's session of Community Architects Gathering?
This is Nathan. I now have a great set of questions from Allison to ask myself, because that's how I'm going to pitch and sell what I'm doing.
All right, that sounds awesome. All right, gang, do connect with us. We love to create your retreat community with you. This is absolutely our passion. We have a lot of secrets, a lot of hacks on how to actually make this as streamlined, as profitable as possible. And we have our own 3-day event, which is really where the magic happens. The blueprint for creating your 6-figure retreat community launch event, and high-level connections who are doing this at the 7-figure and up level, as well as legacy builders, generational wealth specialists. It all happens at the Retreat to Legacy Forum. So it's really a convergence of all of our most powerful connections and what we're really standing for in the world. So if you're interested in joining us, then book a call. If you want some support with your retreat community, then book a call as well. Thank you for being here. We will convene again March 11th with my dear friend Tiamo Di Vittori. Until then, much love, be free, and together we rise. Bye for now.